Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. On today's video, we're going to talk about inflation, mortgage rates, and what effect that may have on the housing market. We're already seeing a big change in interest rates and inflation so far this year, so I'm going to talk about where interest rates and inflation stand today and where they're probably going to head for the rest of 2021. So stay tuned for the rest of the video where I break it down. And if you enjoy this content, definitely consider liking this video and subscribing for more content. So let's just get right into the video now. Let's start with inflation. In 2020, inflation was at 1.2%, which was quite low. The average inflation should be about 2% each year. But now if we fast forward to May of 2021, 1 year later, inflation has jumped to 5%. And just in February of 2021, inflation was only at 1.7%. So there's been a big spike in inflation, and this is largely due to the comparison of where things are this year compared to last year. For example, if you take a look at the price of goods a year ago when the lockdown first started, plane tickets, hotels, the prices of goods had taken a severe hit because there was no demand for a lot of these products. But as things open back up and get back to normal, people are resuming their activities. After this long pandemic, this long lockdown, people are going out and doing the things they used to do and love. So now this is causing demand for things to go up, and the prices are rising across the board for consumer products. And real estate is one of those things that has also been skyrocketing over the last year as well. So what does rising inflation mean for the housing market? Usually with housing, it rises at about the same rate or higher than inflation to keep up with it. And in general, having debt when inflation rises is generally a good thing because it becomes cheaper to pay back year over year. For example, if you get a 30-year mortgage and over those 30 years there's about 2% inflation every year it becomes 2% cheaper to own that property, have that debt. But what happens if inflation gets too high and gets too out of control? Is that going to crash the housing market? So if inflation gets too high or stays too high for too long, the Fed will likely step in and raise interest rates to help slow down the economy and prevent uncontrollable inflation. And when interest rates rise, generally housing prices will fall by about 10 times what the interest rate went up by. So if interest rates went up by 1%, housing prices would generally fall by about 10%. And the opposite is true. We've seen when interest rates dropped by like 0.6%, housing prices had gone up by 6% or actually even more above usual. So where do interest rates stand today? At the beginning of 2021, interest rates were at 2.67% for a 30-year mortgage. And in April, they reached 3.2%. However, 6 months into 2021, a few months later, they have dropped down to 2.96% again. That's a 0.3% increase from the beginning of 2021, but interest rates are still much lower than they were at the beginning of 2020 when they were at 3.65%. But to really get a look at where the interest rates may be headed, we need to take a look at the long-term Treasury bond rates. As of June 11th, long-term bond rates are at 2.15% and they've been fluctuating, but generally they've been heading down a little bit each week. And in an unusual event, mortgage rates have also come down a little bit over the last couple of weeks as well. Normally when bond rates go down, interest rates go up or vice versa. But right now the market has just been correcting for the pandemic because everything was priced so wrong over the last year because of all the uncertainty. So as we get back to normal and everyone gets back to work and the economy opens up fully and gets back to how it was, we'll have to keep an eye on where bond rates are going and see what effect that's going to have on interest rates. If bond rates continue to decline, that means interest rates will likely continue to increase. But the real question is, how much are interest rates going to increase through 2021? Most experts seem to agree that interest rates will stay flat in June and only increase slightly over the next couple of months to end 2021 with low 3% interest rate. It is unlikely to see interest rates above 3.5%, so we're going to remain lower than pre-pandemic interest rate levels. Unless something crazy happens that we haven't forecasted for, then interest rates should remain relatively low compared to 2020. I personally wouldn't be surprised if interest rates stayed in the 3.3, 3.4 or less range. But we're going to have to keep an eye on where inflation goes over the next couple of months and how that's going to impact interest rates. If inflation gets too out of control, then we're obviously going to see interest rates rise by quite a bit. But I don't see interest rates going back to anywhere near 4% for quite a while. So in conclusion, what is the effect of the interest rates rising and the inflation going up on the real estate market? I would say we're going to see the housing prices start to cool off, and I believe housing prices will get back to their normal rate of about 5 to 7% increase versus the last year where it's been 13, 15, or 20% increase in prices per year. So I think we're going to see increases in real estate values still continue for the foreseeable future, but I don't see anything that's going to cause a crash or any decline in real estate prices. Appreciation should be relatively normal over the next couple of years, in my opinion. I know that a lot of people are saying that housing prices are going to crash and burn over the next couple of months, but I do not see that coming based on the evidence. Demand is still very strong and supply is still very weak compared to where it needs to be for real estate prices to really get back to a flat line. And as I've talked about in other videos, it could take many years for that to get fixed. So I do see demand staying higher than supply for quite a while, which is going to continue the upward trend of real estate prices. So that's my update. That's my thoughts on inflation, on mortgage rates, and what effect it's going to have on real estate. Definitely let me know what you think down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, definitely like and subscribe for more content. I make real estate related videos every week, and I'll be making more updates on the housing market. So thanks for watching and see you next time.